Hey everybody, welcome to my live feed. This should be a pretty interesting one tonight. It's gonna wait for a minute there now. Hold on, what time is it? Just give it a quick minute there now, and we'll see where we're going. I'm gonna, you know what, I found that, I found with how I'm growing and how I'm listening to people. Now, I'm not going to say I'm going to be perfect, don't get me wrong. Got me roots on, got me Beaver Canada, me roots. But don't get me wrong, I think I've done enough ranting and raving. Now, maybe will I have rough days? Is this going to be a perfect roller coaster? Probably not. But I've been listening to a couple of close people on here, and I'm starting to get the message. I think it's time to kind of slow her down a bit and maybe put on a bit of humor. Right? Maybe you might listen to me if I have a bit of humor. So I'm going to turn around my camera, right? And I'm going to explain something. Okay. This here is a little map of Newfoundland, okay? This is Newfoundland right here. This is a little map. You see this little map I got? Right? That's the map of Newfoundland. Now, here I am with grade 6, again, with a mental disability that is going to shed a little bit of light. Okay? Here we are right down here, look. See this? St. John's, Newfoundland, look, right here. Signal Hill, right? Look. All our tuna, our cod, coming along here, look, all these little coves, Spaniards Bay, St. Mary's Bay, look. All the boats coming across, all inland, look at all this beautiful land. Eagles, coyotes, cows, look, all our motherland, whales, boats, all caribou. Coming up through, look, all nice fishing, all beautiful land. Coming along, all inside, all coast, all fishing, all land moose. Coming across right over, look. Right over the Port of Bass. Look, lobster. Beautiful, beautiful province. There's our crest. The island portion of the province of Newfoundland. Beautiful land, look, beautiful, all the Atlantic, all our ocean. How come when I was growing up as a child, we had abundance of everything? Everybody shared. There was an alcohol problem. Everybody liked to drink and dance, maybe have the odd fight. But did anybody ever think that the younger generation knew about all this natural resources, all this oil? Our forefathers knew about all this oil off the coast of Newfoundland. They didn't want to go after the oil. They just really looked like the natural resources and live off the land. We lived off motherland. We had a great life. But all of a sudden, the Chinese, the Spaniards, the Portuguese came along. They set trawlers and dragnets down, raped our land, took all the ground, right down to our ground and cleaned our land. We lost our fishery. We lost our identity. We lost a sense of direction. We lost our community. And now we got a bundle of natural resources like oil. We got heavy project, heavy industry, heavy development. We got abundant of natural resources that if it was properly invested in social, and I hate people getting on about welfare. I'll let union work. Why don't you split your checks in half and help people, give them a job too? And there's a lot of people got a mental illness that can't be out in public, that are single parents. So welfare is there for them. But this is about our natural resources and our land. Here we are now with a drug epidemic in Newfoundland because of our natural resources. On every project I worked in Newfoundland, I worked in Bull Arm. I had a drug addict constantly pester me, non-stop, because I was a good worker. Got jealous of me. Kept it up. I was clean off of drugs for 18 days. Everybody was telling me how to pass a piss test. So I went in with somebody else's piss and I passed the test. Like everybody else does in the union jobs. Right? And then, same thing in Muskrat Falls. Down there working, getting along with everybody. Along comes a crack addict, junkie, dummy. Bugging me. I kept putting in reports, kept putting in complaints. No shop steward. Nobody helped me down there. They left me to the wolves. Fired again. Goes down to Argentia. Same thing. Leaves my family. Goes to Argentia. Working. Hey, Jamie. Hi, Allison. And same thing. Junkie on my work shift. Non-stop pestering me. I complains to the foreman. Complains to the shop steward. Complains to the GF. I'm Mike Williams. Nobody protected me. They left me to the wolves. Drugs continue now to still affect my life. Why should we in Newfoundland, that light is bright, why should we in Newfoundland let our natural resources be raped from our land and only 25% of the population reap the benefits? Is that fear to our land? Is that fear for the forefathers that built our land, that built the infrastructure, that got everything in place for this new generation? Why should we as a people stand and let that happen? Thank you, Jamie. Right? Here we are now, another big, huge project in the Argentia. Everybody going in there addicted again. Whacked. Gonna build another big oil project. Gonna go out and suck up the oil from our ground and our land. And what are we gonna get for it? Closed hospitals, closed schools, infrastructure. Kids 13, 14, 15, 16 years old doing drugs in the community. Everybody knows about it. Women, children, men, police, politicians. It's an epidemic in Newfoundland. It's a shame. It's a bad thing. How can we let that happen to our youth? I'm only one man. I know children 14 years old that are doing pills in Newfoundland. I was a bad pill seller. I sold a lot of pills. I sold my prescriptions. Until I seen one of my friends' daughters affected with the drug. I'm ashamed of myself. But I no longer will stand for anything that's unrighteous. Even for myself. I don't need nobody to tell me what not to do. I need people to encourage me on how to speak and how to say what I needs to say. I'm trying to be truthful here now because I feel like this is going to catch on. I think we can really do good with each other and make a real positive change. I got a lot of people watching. I got to be way more mature. And I got to really consider about where I'm going to go with this. Because I think this is a movement that can catch on. And I think we could make a change as a people, as a group. And like I said, I still got to go and see, can I get counseling? Right? Let's not be negative on here. We don't need to be putting each other down. We all have opinions. Now, are our opinions gonna different from each other? Maybe yes. But to get personally right down and to get really offended and to offend somebody else, that's not the meaning of this. I'm really serious. I knows a lot of people my whole entire life that never ever used drugs, but they had other mental illnesses. And maybe they drank alcohol to cope with it. Maybe they become sex addicts. No matter what, it all boils down to mental illness. And we all suffer with some type of form of mental illness. Very few people on Mother Earth will escape mental illness. I promise you that. It's almost like going back to the Bible. It's like a sin. Everybody on earth sins. Well, everybody on earth got a mental illness. How do you deal with that mental illness? How, Anita? Right? How can we deal with that as a group? It's a mental illness. You could smoke a cigarette because you're high anxiety. You could go get drunk because you're high anxiety. Just because you're smoking crack, speed, heroin, pills, beer, cigarettes, sex, it's all immoral and it's all because of our unhealthy mental illness. Nobody can get on here and dispute this with me. Drug addiction, alcoholism, sexual abuse, sexual everything, it's a mental illness. And that's why we're addicts. That's why we're whatever. That's why we struggle. That's why we consume alcohol. That's why we live outside of the norm. Because we have a mental illness. But I think if we all come together as a group, like you are with me as a person, I'm growing every day. Now maybe I got to do better in my relationship, but it's hard with my disease. But I'm just letting you know that we can grow this at a big rate. We can change each other's lives. It's about risk taking. It's about forgiving. It's about coming clean. This is not no made up story. All right? This is not a game. I'm playing with people's lives here. I'm playing with my life here. I'm suicidal every day. It's not going to take much for me to commit suicide. And I don't say that too lightly. That's because I got a mental disease. You know? I self-medicate. I self-harm. I bang drugs on my arm. I slash my arms. I try to hang myself. You don't think I've been trying to bang drugs on my arm to kill myself? I've been trying to die since I've been a young boy. I'm trying to die every single day. But now I'm finding the purpose. I'm finding the drive. I got a meaning. I want to stop the sexual abuse. I want the children to get help. I want to protect the youth. I don't want nobody suffering with their mental illness to bang needles in their arm and get hepatitis C and have to fight for your life like I have. I had to take a full year's treatment. I had to do a ribavirin needle in my side. And I had to take interferon. It's a breast cancer medication. I went from 195 pounds down to 145 pounds. I almost lost my life. This is real life story. This is real life addiction. This is real life, not faking it. If you're going to deal with mental illness with the drugs, that's the road you're going to follow. You're going to lose your teeth. You're going to sell your body. You're going to rob your family. You're going to rob banks. You're going to do whatever it takes to do that drug. So I'm trying to be fair and open and honest here. I'm trying to tell you it's a hard life. And if you see somebody with a mental illness, hi Michelle, you know, if you're dealing with that mental illness, open up about it. Go to your parents. And parents, we can't stigmatize these children no more. They're your own children. We got to stop beating them. Hey, Ted. Hey, Ted Drover. Yes. Right? Yes, Courtney. Yes. And believe me. Hey, thank you, Courtney. And recovery is possible. Trust me. I'm telling you now. Trust me with all my power and all my might. You can get clean. Thanks, Allison. Right? And 11 months clean. Right on, Courtney Newman. Right? I'm telling you now, you trust me on this here as a brother, as a listener, and as a follower. If you just take one day at a time clean, don't worry about tomorrow. Don't worry about tomorrow. Worry about tonight. Let's bring back our pride in motherland and Newfoundland. Tomorrow I'm going to have a really nice video about our union. I'm going to talk about a few things tomorrow. Okay? So, I just wanted to come on here on my YouTube just to let you know, people, that you can get help. If a piece of shit like me, loser, scumbag, dirtbag, convict like me, could stop breaking into drugstores, could stop banging needles in his arm, could stop sniffing pills up his nose, smoking crack, smoking speed, banging heroin, living on the streets in Vancouver, living in Newfoundland, banging drugs and robbing all my life. If I can do it, you can do it. And it all goes back to my treatment in British Columbia. I'm just letting you know. It really works. I'm not saying that I'm cured. Do I fluctuate? Am I up and down? Most certainly am. Is this all a new beginning for me? Most certainly is. I'm not the miracle here. I've done a lot of horrible. I've done a lot of wrongs. A lot of dirt. Right? But I'm just letting you know. I went to treatment. I went to drug addiction counseling. It took me 6 months. Vomiting, throwing up, crying, getting sick, lonely, writing down dirt, shame, facing who I was. And it was a big change in my life. I'm not lying about that. You can't lie. How can a person lie about being out of prison for 9 years and have 2 major slip-ups? That's pretty good. No, Ted, I don't. I get very dry in the mouth too. But anyway, that's just my little story. It all goes back to this right here, hello? Yeah, the first thing you got to do is admit you're an addict. There's no sense of hiding behind the door in the closet. You're not going to go nowhere. Hello? It all goes back to the motherland. All right? I'd like to thank my counsellors in BC, Manica. I'll never forget Manica. Manica was the biggest person that ever helped me in my whole life. I cried many's a days on her shoulder, and I started writing down my feelings. She started explaining what hate was, what hurt was, what anger was, what jealousy was. Do you know I never knew what jealousy was? There's only one way I had was rage from all the violence and the abuse and the suffering. I only had one emotion, rage. Right? That's why I am the way I was. That's why I'm away from all of that. I don't want to be a Facebook warrior where you're punching keys on here and you're threatening people. Next thing you know, somebody's in very serious danger. That's not what this is about. I got a right now to remove, delete, and block. This is about really being honest. Do your wife listening? Does she really want to become clean and healthy and whole? Does she want to stop selling her body? Does she want to stop cheating on her husband? Do the husband want to stop selling himself? Exactly. That's another thing that I do. There's 3 things I do in my life that's kept me in my recovery. Number 1 is the people that I hang with. Number 2 is the things that I do. And number 3 is the things that I desire. The treatment center in British Columbia, it was called a Regional Psychiatric Center in Mission, British Columbia. And I done a very violent crime in BC. Well, we won't get into that lifestyle because I can't really say a lot about it. But I got in a very serious gang out there, and I ended up doing a very serious crime, and I ended up getting 4 years in prison. And I was going to stab an inmate. Hold on, Alison. I was going to stab an inmate, but in Kent, he found asbestos. So they weren't taking no inmates in the maximum security prison. So they sent me over to a regional psychiatric center. And this here is where my life has changed. I was talking to my mom on the phone. And this is a very true story. And this is how I began to change my life. My mom got on the phone and we were talking and she said, hold on, I got somebody that wants to say hi to you. Now I figured it was one of the boys, right? But on come this little child's voice. He said, hi. He said, is this my daddy? I said, who's this? He said, this is John. John Paul, he said. I said, yeah, I'm your daddy. He said, I heard you had big muscles. And he said, you got lots of tattoos and you're a football player. Huh? Was I ashamed? I said, yeah, that's me. He said, well, why don't you come home and be my daddy? He said, I'd like for you to come home and be my daddy. I went into the guard right on the spot and I told the guard, I said, I want to talk to my CO. So down come my parole officer. And my parole officer said, what can I help you with? I said, I need treatment. So I got my treatment in Regional Psychiatric Center. It's called RPC. It's an anger management program in British Columbia. It's in Abbotsford, British Columbia, if you want to look it up. So I'm going to go. It's just a little video about our motherland, how I respect my motherland now, how I like to apologize to my motherland, how I like to apologize to my families, I like to apologize to my victims, and I'd really like to be a better person. I really like to sacrifice myself for ye now. I got a great life. I got my fiance, my job, my daughter's here. But this is an open line now. We must stop this addiction in Newfoundland. Her Majesty's Penitentiary. We got that Lisa Verdican Foundation or petition going. Get that signed. We got to get that into the House of Assembly. And we get that in. Once that petition's into the House of Assembly for Her Majesty's Penitentiary, I'm going to get a petition going then for the College of the Physicians to investigate doctors and the prescription medication in Newfoundland. So everybody, that's my live feed. Newfoundland pride, Newfoundland power, Newfoundland strong. Let's bring our country back. Let's get all this prostitution cleaned up. Let's get these young children off the pills and off the drugs. Let's clean up our schools. Let's really come together as a people, as a whole, and try to change Newfoundland. So peace out. I know I'm clean for tonight, and one day at a time. No hard drugs. I'm clean off alcohol. Peace out. Take care. And I'm not hypocritical to anybody. This is just my belief. I know I'm clean. Take care, man. Peace out. And I really, really respect everybody. And just goes to show that being clean, being really humble, being respectful, you can really, really move a mountain. Ladies, treat your bodies as your bodies. That's your temple. That's your spirit. Don't let no man violate you. Don't violate your spirit yourself. And men, be better to yourselves also. Clean up your act. Just admit you're a drug user. Admit you have a mental illness. Go seek help. If there's no help there, we need the provincial government to step in. More funding for this treatment. More funding for mental illness. Let's look after the elderly. Let's really build our infrastructure. And let's really help people in Newfoundland. Power to Newfoundland. Power to the people. And Newfoundland strong. Newfoundland pride. Let's bring God back into our homes. Let's bring God back into our schools. Let's bring God back to people. Let's forget about the sexual abuse. God never done the sexual abuse. It's the priest and the leaders of our community. I'll forgive them. 709 forever. Newfoundland strong. Newfoundland pride. Let's get God back in our lives. Let's get God back in our houses. Let's get God back in our churches. God never committed the sexual abuse. Mankind committed the sexual abuse. If we go back to Jesus, bring God in our lives, look after each other, respect our communities, respect each other, we'll have a better future. Power to the people of Newfoundland. Have a great night and God bless Newfoundland.